All right, YouTube, what's going on? So we got another big update today. Huge econ changes. It's been the trend lately, and we are just a hair shy, of now doubling our econ since our last major respec. So we're making huge progress. Looking at the stat page on the right side, look at that 71 and a half big Q, and just like 2 weeks ago that was like 50 or something. So might have even been in the 40s 2 weeks ago. So yeah, we got some huge updates, guys, or huge jumps. So biggest thing this week, we got gifted 2 stone packs, anonymous source. So greatly appreciate that, whoever it was. That's absolutely huge. And I apologize, I was a little impatient. I couldn't wait. And let's just jump right into it here. We've got Area of Effect Mastery. I got that slotted in already in the lab. And as you can see, we're up to level 2 on that. Right now it's 2.5 at unlock, and we have it up to 5% increase. So that's huge. So it's already noticeable how much bigger the flamebot is. So I'm pretty sure the flamebot visually gets bigger. I don't know if that's just me, but it looks to be bigger. So that's going to be huge, and that's going to be another thing that if it does in fact increase the overall radius, that's going to make a huge difference for us, because we'll be able to when bot respecs come, we're going to be able to respec a smaller range and dedicate those metals elsewhere. So that's going to be an absolute huge thing for us. And right now we need all the help that we can get, because guys, we are now back-to-back weeks. Or did we get stones in the we're gonna back out of this. Did we? Yeah, we did get keys here on the last one. That's why we set the PB. So back to another week of no keys. And interestingly enough, we're going to take a quick look at the run history here for the tournaments. This was a nothing run. That was for nothing. It wasn't even set up at all. So we did 2 different setups here. Got the same thing both times. And that was our best run there. And then I think starting here all the way up to this 980, that was a full damage build. Now not fully set up, because we didn't respec enhancements for damage, but we do have very high damage enhancements, even our health build. So, and that's why I say I'm hybrid. So it really opens our eyes a little bit about different battle conditions and how they affect the build that you're using. And I think this is definitely a wake-up call. I don't think there's a ton that I could have done to my build EHP wise, like specifically EHP, where I could have done that significantly better, outside of just doing things that would benefit any build. For example, CF plus. I could, if I had more levels into CF plus and more levels, finish up the couple last levels in the swamp, or had landmine stun mastery. There's various different things that would help any build, but there's nothing that I could have done that would specifically make me say, yeah, I would have got the extra 300 waves that I needed. I think it was like 350 waves to get keys that I would have needed. So, I only have 5 more levels of defense percent, 5 more levels of wall regen. We have not finished health and regen labs. Those are not quite maxed out, but those are very close to getting maxed out. But when I start talking about the damage build that I put together, 980 is wild, because that tells me on that specific battle conditions, I would have absolutely cooked with a little bit more damage. Just a little bit. Like, seriously, like, not even a massive investment. And now something we've been talking about over the last few weeks, guys, is kind of the direction we've been planning to go. So we're going to jump into that in 1 second here, and we're going to talk more about that. But I want to touch on our main thing here. And for that, we're going to look at Ren, and I apologize, guys. We're going to jump around a little bit today. So we're going to take a look at Project Rend here. And I specifically wanted to look at the farming so you guys can see what we're talking about here. So when we did our first respec, we got up to like 96Q here. And our latest run, which was not fully optimized, so this current run that we have going on right now, I'm expecting 180. And that's about another 100% increase. Look at that. That's absolutely crazy. And let's see, what was the... Did these have the date? Yeah, so this was on the 2nd. All the way to the 9th. So in 1 week, we've doubled our coins per hour again, which is nuts. Because this is a shorter run. Now, here's the thing you got to think about. It's not quite a double on the total, but the coins per hour is doubled. Just because we got a little bit shorter wave. So with some of the change that we made, and I don't know if I just got unlucky. That seems a little uncharacteristic. I don't think because these were with my ultimate weapons turned off too. So I think I maybe just got an unlucky fleet spawn there. But guys, we're gonna be touching 200Q an hour, but like within a week. I'm feeling pretty confident about that. So let's jump back over here, and we will get right back into it. So, yeah, as far as our power and our next kind of steps that we've been talking about here. So over the last few weeks, you've been hearing me talk about, well, let's just get the swamp labs done, and then let's work on some damage, because I think there's a little bit of I need a little bit more damage for working on some of the health discos, and I need and ultimately I need these health discos to help push me on this, get me on a tier 16. We've been stuck at tier 16 running 11 to 12,000 waves for like 3 months or 4 months now. It's time to take the next step, but we can't right now with the coin multiplier. Coin multiplier is so much less. It's like 4,000 or 5,000 less on tier 17. So that's what we're doing right now, guys. And we did finish Poison Swamp. Radius. Where is she? Poison Swamp Radius. Towards the top. Swamp Radius, guys. It's finally done. So that in combination with Area of Effect Mastery is going to be huge. Now, we did not quite stick to our original plan, guys. We slotted these out, and we'll just circle back to them. We slotted these out temporarily because I think with the realization that there is an effectiveness, I could say as a primary EHP player, but there's a usage for some damage. And I mean, if I had this done and I had this done, I'm serious. I think another 350 waves was going to be a cakewalk for me. That and a couple more minor optimizations will be huge. So, and this is another thing that's not only going to help the damage reduction from the flame bot, but it's also going to help the inner landmine stuns, the landmine stuns, the explosion, the damage from them across the map, across the screen, And another big factor is increasing the poison swamp range, which that'll be like basically impossible to see here, I imagine. or science. We'll turn this on. And it does look bigger, I think. I think it looks bigger. I want to say it was like closer to out here. It's kind of hard to tell on this. It'll be way easier to tell in tournament, but I mean those are huge. So yeah, I used to be stunning enemies out here. I finally turned off the swamp some, but now I've turned off the poison swamp entirely. Actually, you know what? You could probably turn the poison swamp on now at this point in the game. So anyways, guys, that's that. To finish up on the labs, let's finish up looking at that. We are kind of dabbling with the idea. We've been talking about working on the farming and the tournament Prim C, because we're one Prim C away. We're gonna do a couple module pulls today, kind of unrecommended, but let's just have our fingers crossed. Let's hope for the best on that. Regardless, I think we're gonna wait like another week or two, and then I think I guess we'll see how we do in these next two tournaments. But I think we might take a little bit out of the econ and respec the mythic for the farming, and instead of, you know, we'll have +2 death wave, +3 what is this, probably -10 or something, and that's probably +5. So we'll definitely have some lower stats on there for farming, but I don't think in combination they're gonna kill us econ wise. But I think with having black hole duration, black hole cooldown, or chrono field duration, because that's something that we ran into this last tournament, guys, and I at the very end, and not really sure why, even with G-Comp, we were having chrono field go down, so that was a little weird. We weren't getting enough packages. So that's what we're working on right now with that, but we're gonna hop right back over. I don't really know what the next steps will be. I'm gonna just plan to finish these 3 out. Looking at Rend, they should be approximately by the end of the month. So 2 to 3 weeks, it looks like. They're all under 3 weeks, like 2 to 2.5 weeks for all 3 of these. So we're gonna get those finished up. We got to finish talking about the econ though. Let's jump right back over to that. Sorry guys, I know we're jumping around a little bit here. There's just a lot that kind of coincides with one another, and there's reasons for different things that kind of coincide with different things. So to go back to why our econ has spiked, and we'll bring Rend back up, and just kind of go over how these things kind of staggered here. So when we got to here, we had simply pulled up the we had respec the bots. So we went back into a bunch into golden bot, took a little bit out of the flame bot, took a little bit out of the bot, boom. We jumped from 49 or 50 small Q to 96 Q. And then it was right about here, one of these two, is when it was recommended to me that we respec our summon. And we did that. We took some out of the attack chip. The attack chip, we were using it because it's like the EHP thing to do, but it doesn't attack fleets, so it was actually useless. I didn't completely strip it down, but we stripped it down a pretty good amount. And that got us to here. When we did that, did we change anything else? Nope, I think that was it. So that got us into like this range. Then our next jump up to here was when it was recommended to us to drop the ultimate weapons and get rid of the stuns. So I started turning off CF+. I started turning off inner landmines, so there wouldn't be any inner landmine stuns. and I turned off Poison Swamp completely, which, as you saw, we just turned it back on. We're so late in the rounds that no damage that I do with my build is going to do anything, but it might help a little bit get the time to kill. So the last thing we changed was we took out the landmine stun card, which I thought was a really good idea. And that's actually where we went from the 161 to the 167 was just the landmine card. And then, as you can see here, we did a little bit less in waves and hit the same amount just based on this giant jump here. So some huge things, and it's just it's a little bit of a reminder for us all that, you know, you got to play around with things because things are always changing. And you know, those were things I hadn't even thought about. I just thought that, well, my tower doesn't put out enough damage, so why would I need to turn those things off? I was wrong. And thank you, everyone that chimed in and gave us recommendations of what we should be, you know, turning off and optimizing. We'll go back and we'll take a quick look. We'll just run through, collected everything here. We'll get these finished up soon. You know, these two we got to drop to a lower tier most likely, finish them up. Guild, everybody's doing good, nice and strong. We do have some openings here if anybody's looking for some spots. We've hit every box for years now, so never been an issue. We've even been down to a skeleton crew, like 20 people or 22 people or something like that, and we still get every box. So it'd be nice if we could get a little bit more, get some people in here. Everybody's very active, so and this is what we were talking about here. Is we had this at like 11 or 12, and this has now increased quite a bit. This was at 92, I think it was. So we've upgraded those. Now everything else, I'm just going to start dumping into fetch, getting the module shards and whatnot. Pretty much consistently max everything that can be maxed out, but just get more shards. Our workshop has not changed a tremendous amount. I just kind of fill things in randomly. All this stuff ends up maxing out. We do demo the shockwave, as you guys know, and this is what we got here. We just 500, 400 enhancements. So what I was saying with tournaments is, you know, I just run a pretty much standard 2.9 and 2.7 for even my EHP build. So that's what we did some damage runs with, and we did really good. Farm with 1.8, really good for boss orb coverage, and everything right now is just going into this coin wise. If I hit another short run, I'll start dumping into here because I don't want to be short on cells. I want to keep 3 labs going 6x like a couple days a week. This is something that I definitely need to work on. And that's something that we'll talk about here in a little bit. I don't know if there's a where I should be spending the next stones that come in, but that's a big thing that we gotta kind of establish. Modules haven't changed much. The build that we did, where we ran pretty decent in tournament, ran the 980. We used anti-cube portal with this setup. We used orbital augment. We used project funding. We used astral deliverance in the assist, and then we tried one with pulsar harvester. Did really bad. We put the G comp back in for the permanent black hole. We also, for the cores, we did Ohm chip and dimension core. So, and maybe that wasn't even the best setup. It looked like it was a pretty strong setup. We did re-roll everything too. Did like pretty good. This took like 3 million re-rolls just to get that. And then we had to just kind of suffer on those. As far as assists, oh yeah, we did a couple clicks into here to get, that was for the ohm chip, because we were trying to get the chain lightning quantity, I believe it was. I was trying to bump that up to 3. So we did put some clicks into that. So that, I guess, probably helped our golden tower a little bit as well. So that's probably, in part, a little bit of the econ increase that we've gotten in the last day. As far as where we spend our stones next, guys, really not really sure. I have 4, well, I technically have 5 thoughts, and I want the community's input on where we put this. So please let me know in the comments. I have 4 options, 4 with a possible. First one, Chronofield plus level 10. CF plus is starting to get expensive. 9's pretty good, but I'm sure 10 is even better, as everything is. That's one option. But I don't know if 1,700 stones gives me any direct immediate benefit. Second option, save even longer. Get GT plus 12. That's something, you hit that click, you see an immediate improvement. That's going to lead to more enhancements over time. That could be very beneficial. Also, as these assist labs start to increase in price, this will help me afford them. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. It will be interesting to see, though, what kind of massive econ increases I get and everyone gets that is able to do bot respecs when they come out. Because having a dedicated Golden Tower bot setup is going to be wild. And there's also going to be a massive power spike because everybody will be dumping off Golden Bot for tournament. So that's gonna come down to bot, flame bot, and for me probably Thunderbot to start. I'll definitely have a damage setup where it's bot, amplify bot, and I'm not sure. Maybe still flame bot, maybe Thunderbot. Not really sure. So we'll see about that. But yeah, this is the next option. Now, I did some calculations pre-video here, and this is per. I don't know if these are accurate. These might not be accurate. I just punched them into some AI, and it definitely had some wrong numbers. So I had to correct it a couple times about where I was at, and it didn't seem like it was calculating the labs for the generator multiplier correctly. But per Google AI, take this to 50% would be 1,638 stones. So just about the same cost as the CF Plus, but that economy increase I think would be massive. Yeah, that'd be huge, because then this would be 1.5 and some change. So that would be huge. That'd be a massive econ spike, and that's 1,000 stones cheaper than GT. Now, is it going to be a 15 to 20% econ spike, like I think is supposed to be the estimation for, going to GT plus 12? I don't know. That's another thing. Somebody can definitely let me know in the comments, please, if they have any information about what kind of econ spike I could see bumping up to 50%. Another one is going to be the substat efficiency, and that's going to not as much impact the coins per kill, but we're looking at the enemy level skip standpoint. Now, this is about 3,000 stones for us to get the level skips up to 4%. It's just under 3,000 stones, 2,988 to go to 50% from here. So that's definitely huge. And I know level skips are kind of the thing that everybody keeps telling me I need to work on, but I'm not as gung-ho to work on those right now because outside of disco runs, I don't really have a usage for them. Now, when I finally get out of tier 16, it might be very useful. But I'm not really positive. So definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think is going to make the most improvements for me, the most immediate improvements. I was thinking about this, but I don't think that's actually a good investment for me, because at the end of the day, the only immediate increase I'm going to get is going to be more Death Wave, which, if we take a look, I don't really necessarily need more Death Wave coverage. I don't think the cell increase is going to be massive. I hit about 77 to 80% every time. I'm not going to get any more Black Hole, and I'm not going to get any more GT. So where would I really see the benefit from that? I don't need their landmines. I turn them off now for farming, so that's the only place I see some impact. But you don't have a second ring of inner landmines in tournaments, so it wouldn't really benefit me all that much. Really undecided, guys. So my initial thinking is that I should just go with econ, but there's two things that kind of make me wonder if that is actually the play. I haven't touched Smite in a while. I've now decided that it's pretty underwhelming for me. I don't really know. It's definitely more underwhelming than I was expecting. And especially when you start thinking about it from a damage reduction aspect, it really doesn't provide like a crazy amount of damage reduction. I haven't seen it. And I have like Smite up to, or like Chain Thunder up to like 60. Chain Thunder. Where is Chain Thunder? So I have it up to 60%, which I think is actually, per the spreadsheet or whatever, I think this is actually above where it needs to be for Smite level 7. And I don't know if that's accurate for sure, but so maybe this is where I need to spend something. My last thing here, guys, my last option that I've been thinking about, which I'd like to see Zephyr do it first so I can know if it's going to work for him or not. Death Creep. Death Creep, I think, could be the play. I don't think Consume is for me, because I don't need farming help. I need tournament help. And it deals 5% current wave HP damage to trapped enemies in Black Hole. Well, ultimate enemies don't get trapped in the Black Hole. So this wouldn't affect the enemies that are killing me. Elites don't get trapped in the Black Hole. They pass through the Black Hole, but they don't get trapped. Trapped, I think, is the key word there. So that seems like it's out of the question for me right now. I've seen Shadow Saber talking about kill wall. He's going kill wall, and I saw in his latest video his explanation for it, and I don't know. I'm still a little, either I'm misunderstanding this, or I think he's looking at it from a slightly incorrect perspective. Because when we look at Death Wave, and I'm just gonna end. Should I just end this run for science? Well, actually, if I let's take a look here quick, guys. So the way Death Wave works, right? It's when it procs, and it'll put the pool, and it'll have the ring. So we have, you see the red numbers right there? Actually, let's just slow the game down. And again, I could be totally looking at this and interpreting it incorrectly, but Death Wave goes off. Okay, right? So you have the ring here, And this is the amount of the ring. And basically this ring will stay active until a total multitude of enemy health runs into the wall, the death wall. And so my understanding of this, because I see it on like the lower tiers, like when everything's just running into your death wall and it chips away your death wall, and then your death wave reprocs, and it adds more death wave health to the wall, to the death wave wall. So if this is, I'm just going to use round numbers. Say this is say it's 18 Q, right? 18 big Q. Well, one enemy's health is a basic enemy. The lowest health is 13.64 AA. That enemy is going to just eat the wall, which is exactly what happens. And that's why that immediately disappears, right? Now, my understanding when I'm reading this is effect wave hits amplify death wave damage. So does it just increase damage? I swear to God, I read this slightly a different time. Did they update this? I don't think so. Maybe I'm just tripping. I thought it increases the amount of the rate at which your death wall increases the damage that it can absorb before it will go down. And maybe once you click it, that's what it will say. Hold on, now we gotta look this up. Guys, we gotta look this up. Because we have no clue now. Man, I might have to do a live, and so we can talk about this as a community, because I don't understand. Yeah, so holding a cumulative pool of damage. Enemies touching the ring consume damage from the pool based on their health. If the pool isn't fully depleted before the next activation, new damage stacks onto the existing pool. And if I'm not mistaken... Okay, it doesn't specifically say. But I'm pretty positive that the way this works is it just it increases the amount the death wall will have. But I think at a certain point, the enemy health is going to be way too much, especially when you start talking about a boss coming in. So I very well could be wrong about that, guys, but that's where my thinking's at. And what I'm looking at now is how can I resolve... I think I'm getting to a point where I can have an answer for a lot of different things. We're starting to improve with fast ultimate. We're starting to improve with ranged ultimate. Those were things that have been tormenting us for a while. I mean, dude, we weren't that far off from getting keys this week. We didn't get them. Tough battle conditions. I heard everybody say it. It was tough battle conditions. Health and damage alike. So I'm not sweating having a little bit of a tougher bracket or having a rough battle conditions every once in a while. But like I said, I think there's going to be some learning for me on how I can overcome certain battle conditions. And one build might not be specifically the answer. And I learned that this week. I really think that with this little bit of damage improvement, we have a totally different conversation. I come in here saying, guys, we got the keys using damage. You know, I really think so. So that takes me back to what's going to improve, what's going to solve our immediate problem. Because when these fleets sit around on the screen too long and you get an overcharge, you get a saboteur, you get a couple of them, get a couple commanders on the screen, you really run into trouble. It doesn't matter what kind of build you are. So I think what I need to work on is getting those off the screen. And I think Poison Swamp is that answer for a primary EHP player because it will automatically scale. And the longer the thing's on the screen, the more damage it ends up taking. And I think that's the key, especially now that I have the range on the Poison Swamp where I'm actually going to be touching them, not immediately sitting on my tower. So that's what I'm thinking with where we go for our next big leap for tournaments. It's going to be CF plus 10, or I think Death Creep. And if somebody has, if I'm totally wrong about thinking about this, somebody hop in here and tell me. But I think that's pretty much everything, guys. We've looked at where we're at with labs. We'll just slowly keep trickling these bad boys in there. We'll slowly keep working on these. We definitely need to work on range. I'll probably slap that in for a little bit. And, yeah, we'll continue to work on our assists. But right now, our main focus here is getting ready to re-roll a tournament Prim C and a farming Prim C. So we want to get as many core effect bands in there as we can. 5 days for this next one. And then we're going to finish these damage masteries and area of effect mastery. So, guys, that's where we're at. We can take a quick look at the vault before we go. Nothing's changed. We are up to 4 keys. I think we're going to save them, and we're going to get ourselves a card slot. Because I think if we could keep the regen in while we run a damage build, that'd be great, sure. We could also run, you know, a range card in addition to what we're already running. So it just gives a little more flexibility so we're not strapped and feeling like we're leaving something that could be valuable out. But I think that's all for today, guys. So let me know in the comments what you guys think I can do to improve. Let me know where I need to spend the next stones, and please somebody give me a full breakdown on the Deathwave kill wall and how that definitively works, because I think that it's just gonna get eliminated completely by one large health enemy. So with that, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Happy towering. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, please. Thank you.